It felt so good. Amazing, guys. Here we got the W.
That perception quickly turns into intense online debates, with fans split over a fundamental question: should national exposure be earned strictly through winning, or should it reflect the reality of what audiences are actively choosing to watch in a media-driven era? The truth sits somewhere in between, because while championships and strong records remain central to a league's identity, modern sports broadcasting depends heavily on viewership trends and real-time engagement. This is why comparisons to other leagues often surface, where teams with huge followings or star-powered storylines dominate national coverage regardless of their current position in the standings. As a result, each release of televised schedules feels less like a simple announcement and more like a statement about where the league is heading, even though the decisions are largely rooted in data tracked throughout the season. The discussion becomes even more layered when factoring in entertainment value, as some teams earn recognition through dominance and consistency, while others capture attention through unpredictability, emerging talent, and matchups that draw in casual viewers who might not otherwise be watching. Next voice. This shift has created a more complex ecosystem where success is no longer judged purely by wins and losses, but also by a team's ability to stay relevant in an attention-driven landscape that values visibility just as much as performance. For many rival fans, this change is difficult to accept because it disrupts the traditional idea that national exposure should be a reward for excellence, not a reflection of popularity. Yet the current reality shows how quickly a franchise can rise into the spotlight through a mix of new talent, growing media focus, and strong audience response that feeds off continued visibility. At the same time, proven championship teams can find themselves at the center of unexpected debates about their presence on major broad.
See people and the way she gets them the ball, like this assist to Kelsey Mitchell.
For the Fever down by 3. Looking to tie it. Gets it to...
Alright guys, now let's zero in on what might be the most shocking development of this entire matchup: the two-way brilliance of Raven Johnson. The moment she stepped onto the floor, you could feel the tension across the league, with everyone watching closely to see if the jump from college would slow her down. It didn't. Not even for a second. In just a short burst of minutes, she filled the stat sheet, but more importantly, she controlled the flow with elite awareness and composure against a top-tier defense. This wasn't rookie basketball, this was calculated, confident execution. Watch how she reads defenders, slices through pressure, and delivers a pinpoint assist to Kelsey Mitchell for a crucial three, a play that showed vision well beyond her years. She moved with patience, timing, and precision, looking every bit like a seasoned veteran instead of a first-year guard. Defensively, she brought exactly what was expected: relentless energy, sharp instincts, and constant disruption, making life miserable for opposing ball handlers. But the real question coming into this moment was always about her offense. Could she operate effectively in a structured half-court system, and more importantly, could she share the floor with a dominant presence like Caitlin Clark without losing her impact? Based on what we just witnessed, that answer is becoming very clear, and it should have the entire league paying close attention.
Caitlin, Sophie Cunningham, but it was nice to be able to see Raven showcasing some of her offensive ability, because we all know she's good on defense. When she was in for just 9 minutes, I checked the box score, and she had already stuffed the stat sheet, including a few blocks.
This on the night so far, now trying to get a little bit of her own, but swatted.
Her comfort level going coast to coast, going in between Han Shu and Meili for the layup. And I did.
Alright guys, the answer we got last night was loud, clear, and honestly a little scary for the rest of the league. When you watch Raven Johnson grab a rebound, explode up the floor, and slice straight through a loaded New York Liberty defense for an easy finish, that's not potential, that's proof. She looked completely at home, playing with a level of comfort that most rookies take months to find. More importantly, she showed she can run the offense at a high level while allowing Caitlin Clark to work off the ball, which changes everything tactically. All off-season, the plan to stop Indiana was simple: trap Clark early, pressure her constantly, and force others to beat you. But now, that strategy starts to fall apart. With Johnson on the floor, trapping Clark becomes a dangerous gamble, because it leaves a smart, composed playmaker free to pick apart the defense. She reads rotations instantly and delivers clean looks to shooters like Kelsey Mitchell and Sophie Cunningham, turning defensive pressure into offensive punishment. Clark, even on a rough shooting night, still bends the entire defense with her presence, pulling attention and creating space. And while some will focus on her struggles from the field, missing shots and dealing with heavy contact, the reality is far more important. Her gravity still controlled the game, and alongside Johnson, it unlocked a system that could become a serious problem for every team moving forward.
Started things off right, making the first bucket in the game.
Clark's being guarded by Gardner. Puts the floater up and rattles it in.
I really like the aggressive.
Nice floater. I do think that Caitlin's shot was a bit off today. She attempted 5 3-pointers and she did only make 1 of them. Overall, she went 2 for 10. She did have 4 assists.
But alright guys, here's where it gets even more dangerous for the rest of the league, because even when Caitlin Clark isn't knocking down shots from deep, her impact doesn't drop. It evolves. Her sheer gravity and relentless downhill pressure still force the defense to collapse, opening up high-efficiency opportunities across the floor. Watch how she attacks the paint and floats it over defenders with confidence, still creating offense while drawing constant attention. She added key assists and completely controlled the defensive focus of the New York Liberty, and that's exactly why her teammates thrived. Kelsey Mitchell was automatic, turning every touch into points with elite efficiency, proving her value without question. Then you have Sophie Cunningham bringing toughness and fire, knocking down tough shots and pushing the tempo with aggression. The defense simply couldn't handle all the pressure points at once, and it all built toward a moment in the second half where the offensive chemistry clicked at a level that felt unstoppable.
And this season, Sophie definitely has Caitlin's back. Showcased right here in this play. She's setting a screen for her, so Caitlin has the space to make a move where she gets it over to Sophie, kind of like a cocky assist who gets it over to Kelsey for the sidestep 3. And notice Mo Billings boxing out there under the basket. In addition to being able to pass, to go coast to coast, to block like crazy, Raven does.
Alright guys, lock in on this sequence because this is what championship offense actually looks like when it's executed to perfection. Sophie Cunningham steps up and delivers a crushing screen that immediately throws the New York Liberty defense into panic mode as they overcommit to Caitlin Clark. Clark reads it instantly, reacts without hesitation, and fires the ball right back. Cunningham doesn't hold it, she moves it again with precision, setting up Kelsey Mitchell for a clean sidestep 3 that's basically automatic. That's not just good offense, that's elite-level geometry, spacing, timing, and decision-making all happening at hyperspeed, and when Indiana plays like that, it becomes nearly impossible to defend. But let's not ignore the problems, because they're real. Despite the scoring explosion, the interior issues were glaring. The rebounding gap was a serious concern, and giving extra possessions.
Position, I tell you. She came away with a whopping 20 points, and she was in for 22 minutes. Oddly, she only had 2 rebounds. She also had an assist, and she had a steal, but she did have 2 blocks, including these 2 on Maisha Hines-Allen.
Beaver win the tip, swatted again by Hahn.
Well, one of them maybe wasn't necessarily a block, but it made it impossible for Maisha Hines-Allen to get that in. Shockingly, the Indiana Fever blew away New York Liberty in the steals area, with 8 steals to their 3. Overall, the New York Liberty...
Alright guys, now this is where things get brutally real in the paint, because once Han Su establishes deep position under the rim, there's almost nothing Indiana can physically do to stop it. She dominated multiple possessions, overpowering defenders like Michaela Timpson and altering shots with authority, finishing with a commanding performance in limited minutes. But here's where experience matters. Monique Billings stepped in and showed how intelligence can counter size, using positioning and timing to disrupt the interior and push Su off her spots. These aren't flashy plays, but they win games. Meanwhile, Stephanie White now faces serious decisions as roster cuts loom. This team is deep, talented, and under pressure from salary cap realities, meaning tough calls are inevitable. Players like Jessica Timmons are fighting to prove they belong, showing polished scoring ability and composure. Then there's the high-stakes situation around Justine Pissett, a rare 6 feet 4 inches shooting threat who stretches defenses simply by being on the floor. Letting that kind of asset go could be a major mistake, especially with decision-makers like Lynn Dunn under pressure to balance talent with financial limits. Zooming out, the message Indiana just sent is loud and unmistakable. With Raven Johnson emerging as a dynamic two-way force, Kelsey Mitchell delivering elite scoring efficiency, and Caitlin Clark warping defenses with her presence alone, this team is building something fast, aggressive, and incredibly difficult to stop. If this trajectory holds, the league isn't just watching a rising team, it's watching the formation of